This episode of ReveJations is rated R. Viewer discretion is advised. So, this is the first episode of a series that I've been tossing around in my head for a while called ReveJations. It's like revelations, but instead of an L in the middle of the word, there's a J. Get it? And it's basically like me having epiphanies about certain things. And this will probably be very, very infrequent series. As like I don't plan on getting a lot of epiphanies. Like I can't plan on getting epiphanies. So when I do, then it's just kind of a spur of the moment thing. But I thought it's like a cute name. And this is the first episode. And I'm kind of nervous about this, which is weird because it's the first one, but it's kind of like a controversial and uncomfortable thing, sort of. And I don't have a script or like any notes or anything. Excuse me. It's just like what's coming out of my head right now. So I got this idea a couple days ago, like on the half-year mark of my age, like 19 and a half. I don't know what that inclusion was, but my god, that shit scared me. I love reading, obviously. I have a primarily booktube channel, and I've never really been one for fanfiction. Like in 11th grade, I think it was, for my creative writing class in high school, we had to write a little fanfiction thing combining two series that we liked. I did Doctor Who and Percy Jackson, and I had the 12th Doctor, Percy, and Annabeth. And like I liked how it turned out. I just like never really liked fanfiction because I like to know what's actually canon instead of like headcanons. Like there are cute headcanons that I've seen like on Pinterest and stuff, but I didn't want to read like complete, like even just one-shot stories about characters from authors that I admire and and I'm still like that. I still don't like reading fanfiction based off of characters, because like fanfiction is controversial anyway, not whether or not it's like real characters or real people, and I have a friend who writes fanfiction based off a couple real people, and she says that it's really controversial, which I get because they're like real living people that have agency and breathe and eat and stuff. And like I get that. I never going to write fanfiction, except for like the assignment I had to do. I don't like writing it, but for some reason a couple weeks ago I started reading it. This is where it gets uncomfortable for me. So the first fanfiction piece I ever read was called Brotherly. So the first fanfiction piece I ever read was called Brotherly. It was about Phil Lester's older brother Martin, and it was about Dan and Phil around the Interactive Introverts tour. And Martin is texting their mom Catherine, and basically Catherine's like asking how they're doing, and then she's like, Martin, make sure to take care of both of them, tell them both I love them. It was a really wholesome fic. It was so cute, and like I'm really glad that was the first one I read because like it was really, like, it was pretty good, it was really because it was written pretty well. It was wholesome, and like the characters I think were pretty accurate, like accurate representation of the actual people. But then the next one I read was like, it was still like wholesome, but it was also not, and I'll explain how I mean that in a minute. So as I've mentioned several times before, I am on the asexual spectrum, meaning I don't experience sexual attraction, but I'm demisexual, and so I experience sexual attraction only if I've formed a deep emotional bond with someone. And like I'm kind of in between neutral and sex repulsed, meaning like I think it's gross and I don't understand why people would do, as I so maturely say. And like I go back and forth between that, but like, and I still don't know why I read it, but I've read a few fanfics about Dip and Pip. That's like smut. And it's so weird to say, but like I have a point for this video of why it is okay. And part of like the reason I'm making this video is because of Julie, and Kuru, because they convinced me like that it is okay and doesn't change how I identify. I told Kuru first because I was having like a midlife crisis and identity crisis and stuff, and I brought it up to her, and she's like, how do you think I know all the terms? She's probably like, shouting at me as I say this, sorry. Yeah. But she said that that's the primary source for like learning how things work, because the American school system doesn't teach you shit. And like I don't know what kind of fanfiction she read, if it was like based off people or like characters or what, but the only fanfiction I read is Dan and Phil, and like that should be, part of me is disgusted with that because it's like these two grown men doing stuff. It's not all that I read. Like I read a lot of fluff. I don't really read like AUs. Like I just finished a 243,000 AU in 3 days, which was really interesting. It's called Brick by Brick, and there were a few scenes or a few chapters, long ass chapters, where some stuff that was happening made me so anxiety ridden that like, even though I knew it has a happy ending because it was tagged happy ending, and like I knew they would figure it out and crap, I was still so anxiety ridden that I was crying. I stayed up to like 2 a.m. Till I got past the really anxious part. But like it's just, part of me is disgusted that that's what I'm reading, that it's Dan and Phil. But I brought that up to Julie, and let me tell you what she said. Let me find it because I have it on Snapchat. So I sent her like 20 videos on Snapchat, so like 2 minutes or so, 3 minutes, I don't know how math works, worth of like me explaining what I was explaining to you here. It was so awkward, oh god. And I was like, don't judge, and she's like, okay, you're speaking to the fanfiction queen. I write real people fics daily, so, and we'll only read something if it has eventual smut, so I'm not one to judge. I was like, okay, that's true, but that's one reason like I'm telling you, because like I need validation and I know you can validate me. And then she was like, so I think you're overthinking your sexuality. And like we've had a lot of discussions on sexuality before. Like she was one of the first ones where I brought up the idea that I'm on the asexual spectrum. And she said like the fact that I'm reading this stuff doesn't change how I identify. And that a lot of all of the stuff I'm reading is Dan and Phil, which she assumes is because they have a very profound bond. And when she said that, it clicked why I read them. Because I'm demisexual, and I've only experienced sexual attraction once, and I need that deep emotional bond in order to experience that, and I am living vicariously through fanfics because Dan and Phil have this established bond that everyone knows about, that they've been best friends for 10 years, 10 plus years. Yeah, about 9 years, 10 years, a decade. Jesus. And it's very evident in how they interact with each other that they are very close, and I can see that clearly, and I want to experience that. And I even though part of me is still like sex repulsed, it's still the part of me that isn't, that like it's like maybe one day I'll do it. It's like it is living vicariously through them. I don't know how else to put it. And that's what I'm reading for, is their bond. Like it doesn't matter if they're doing stuff and something's going inside something else or not. They're touching places that it's not polite to publicly touch. But she said that, oh my god, I'm dying, that I may be reading stuff that includes that, but I'm reading for their bond because I have a really strong appreciation for their friendship and friendships in certain fics, and most fics that's friendships. And she said that it's okay to question it if I need to, but like she thinks it's just a case of me overthinking, which I agree with her now that she said like the bond thing, and that made me feel a lot better. Bond. Strong bond. And like there's still times, because this only happened a couple days ago when I'm recording this. It is right now September 7th, and this happened September 5th, and I'm still kind of like, is she 100% right? But my instinct is telling me that she's right. And while this is like controversial, like not just fan fiction but like real people fan fiction, it's the only kind that I can read. At least in this point in my life, it's the only kind I can read, and it's the only kind I will read. It's Dan and Phil fan fiction. Whether it's because I'm learning about stuff or because I just find it on Tumblr and I'm obsessed with Dan and Phil, and I have been since May. Thanks, crew. I love you. But it's just a thing. I don't know if I would call it a hobby because it's reading, and like reading's a hobby, but like reading fan fiction specifically is not going to be a hobby for me. And it's just, yeah. I guess like I'm at this point I'm making this. I'm not sure, like I'm debating uploading it or not. I'm probably going to upload it, and if you see me talking, then I've definitely uploaded it. This is meta, but like my thought process for uploading it is that there might be another like asexual person out there that is reading it and is questioning the validity of their sexuality like I am. And it like you can enjoy reading, watching, or experiencing acts and not like find someone attractive, because like that's all it is. That's all sexual attraction is whether or not you want to, like, you find them desirable. You can find the you can find certain feelings desirable and not find the person desirable, and that's completely fine. And you can enjoy reading about it and living vicariously through it if you're demi or gray or even allosexual. But if you're an asexual person that is reading smut fanfiction and feels confused and like their sexuality is not valid anymore because of that, it's totally fine. It is 100% fine to enjoy reading about it and not necessarily want to do it. It's fine. So that was the first episode of ReveJations. I'm not sure when I'm going to have another episode, depending on when I get another epiphany. But tell me what you guys think, if you like the concept of this series. If you did, give it a thumbs up and tell me what you thought down below. Don't forget to hit subscribe and ring the little bell to get notified every time I upload. I upload every Wednesday and Saturday. And down below in the description are links to my different social medias, including my new Spotify account. So don't forget to follow me on all that. And I will see you in another video. Thanks for watching. Bye.